And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Meanwhile, they even race swapped the bird.
Weird.
The live action Snow White movie is finally out, which means in just a few weeks you can finally stop hearing about it. This film has been in production hell for so long that I swear there's 3 times where I saw the movie post and I was like, wait, is that not out yet? I've been seeing this clip for way too long at this point.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
This was back in 2022. This was the moment that torpedoed this movie. The lead actress who is playing the titular character bemoaning how outdated the movie is. Which the movie's from 1937, it may be outdated, but you as the actress should recognize that you are standing on the shoulders of giants. And to be completely clear and fair, Rachel Zegler was not the only one that dabbled in this nonsense. Gal Gadot absolutely was too.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
Gal Gadot just has a little bit more charisma about it. More about these two and their dynamics later. That interview was also from 2022. Can you tell that this movie has just been in production hell for so long? Ironically, by injecting feminist narratives into the story, it makes the movie outdated as it came out. Considering that this lost at the ballot box. This girl boss energy has already peaked and is on the decline. This is the death rattle of bastardizing classic stories. So in case you're wondering why you've been seeing so much hatred towards Rachel Zegler, that's the reason why. Also, there's a lot of money to be made from it.
But I quickly have to ask you about the Hunger Games prequel. I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
What does it look like? How has it been to shoot? Did you talk to Jennifer Lawrence at all?
I have not talked to Jennifer Lawrence, but if she wants to call me, we can hang out anytime. We're both Dior girlies. We both live in New York. Like, let's get together. I'm obsessed with her. I love her so much.
I feel like you guys would be...
I feel like we'd be really, really
yes,
good friends.
You guys seem very...
My Swiftie manifestation says Reputation TV is coming.
I'm sure it was nothing personal. She just is very annoying sound. Like, I'm sure if I saw her in real life, I'd immediately be annoyed. People were already very skeptical casting Snow White. The character's name, the last name's White, and the actress playing her is Latina. There are a lot of people that are just completely unwilling to give Hollywood movies the benefit of the doubt, especially considering the social climate for the past 10 years. I'm sure nobody told Rachel Zegler that, but she had a target on her back because people perceived her as a DEI hire, and then immediately decide to antagonize fans of the original movie.
Weird.
Saying that original movie is outdated, considering that she did repeat it multiple times, and Gal Gadot also joined in on that rhetoric. I would not be surprised if a publicist or some Disney PR rep fed them their lines that they're just supposed to repeat when they're on the press circuit. But with what Rachel Zegler pulled off in 2024, there truly is nobody else to blame. Do you have any idea on what an actor would have been posting in 2024? Yep, that's right, politics.
Vote for Kamala Harris.
And it's actually non-negotiable. Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Come on. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
Is it surprising that she is endorsing Kamala Harris? No, not at all. But there are already so many right-wing people waiting to watch you stumble and say something stupid. And now people all over Twitter are posting that clip. And she couldn't help herself to just say, hey, go vote. Do what you believe. Because if you're following Rachel Zegler on Snapchat, we can safely assume who you're voting for, right? But you just had to just poison the well, saying how your reproductive rights are on the line. And for that cherry on top, or more like a spike to the drink, she says unfollow. Like, this is some like high school bullshit that you would pull here. Like, if you know any women IRL and have them added on either Instagram, Snapchat, their social media has become the most annoying thing ever during election season. But then again, they are not actresses performing for a Disney movie that's set to come out in around 5 months. Like, if I'm ever directing a movie, I am negotiating the most heavy-handed, don't say anything controversial contracts. If you remember in 2023 when the writer's strike was happening, the actors just were not doing any interviews at that time. And Barbie and Oppenheimer were massive successes. You do not need your actors to go out and get some interviews to make a successful movie. In fact, most of the interviewers are probably gonna goad your actor into saying something nonsensical, and then it's gonna get clipped, and then Nerdrotic's gonna cover it, and now your movie's in some hot water. Also, for all of those wondering, yes, this is how she responded to the election of Donald Trump in 2024.
I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. Leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Leading us towards a world that is fearful. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke fear this morning. And I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
So just in case those first 2 paragraphs weren't bad enough, she really just had to throw red meat out to everybody who already was predispositioned to dislike her, wishing everybody who ever supported Trump, voted for Trump, to never know peace. Mind you that in 2024, Donald Trump won 77 million votes, winning the popular vote by over 2 million. Regardless of what you think of him, alienating that many people, not exactly a good move. She would also post this on stories. Respect women today and every day. Thank you, Rachel Zegler. Very cool. Yes, Rachel Zegler did half-heartedly apologize for the statement she made. I doubt it's very authentic considering it's been reported that Disney had to hire a social media guru for Rachel Zegler and hire security for Gal Gadot. So if Rachel Zegler has been less annoying, less out there lately, it's probably because she had a talking to by Disney. As 2025 comes around, it doesn't exactly get better. I mean, people were talking about Rachel Zegler's back hair. Every time I've seen this image until now, it's been against my will. I never noticed there was back hair until I saw the zoom in on it. The most amazing part on it is that it was just posted by some random anonymous account, and it ended up being a news story. I will not subject you to all the discourse surrounding Rachel Zegler's back hair. I merely have the journalistic integrity to acknowledge it. For a lot of the press circuit leading up to the release in 2025, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot was oddly separated for the most part. One of the few times they were together was during the Oscars. During their short appearance at the Oscars together, you could tell that there's just something going on between them. Whatever reverence that they had towards each other in those 2022 interviews seemed to have evaporated. That, or we're all looking too much into it because we're looking for this movie to fail, and we love to gossip. You look at what little footage I can provide and come to your own conclusions.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
If you're not convinced about the bad blood between them, just wait until I give you this detail. In an Instagram comment, Zegler called Gadot a professional pageant queen. Was that her inner theater kid coming out, or was she generally trying to not speak too highly of her? If you're wondering what could this be, what happened between 2022 and now that erupted that could have severed this relationship between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler? It's the Israel-Palestine conflict. What else could it have been?
Hello, everybody.
So Rachel Zegler is an avid Palestine supporter, going as far as to tweet Free Palestine on X around the time that the first Snow White trailer was released.
And she did it for some reason in the same thread promoting the new movie.
In August of 2024, which I totally understand. You have your beliefs, but why the timing? Why specifically when the trailer was dropping? Gal Gadot has much deeper concerns with her co-star, considering that she herself is Israeli. Like, she grew up there and she fought in the Israeli Defense Force. This is starting to sound like my previous video quite a lot now. You should check it out. So with all of this circumstantial evidence around us, I think it's safe to say that they're not exactly on the best of terms, because it is just so obvious to anyone with a pulse that Rachel Zegler is just surrounded by drama. Gal Gadot sees the bomb that is about to explode and figures, you know what, I'm only like in this movie for 6 minutes. Let me just step back. The only real thing of note during this whole press circuit is that during a performance in Spain, which Gal Gadot was not present in, Zegler performed Waiting on a Wish. Some fan commented on the post of her performing saying,
"No thanks, Disney wasn't so difficult to cast a soprano."
And Zegler of course had to reply saying,
"I am a soprano. West Side Story is now streaming on Disney+.
So now she is really stooping to that bottom of the barrel, going after literal Instagram commenters less than 2 weeks before the movie is set to release. But then we get to the release of the movie into theaters. The modern live-action Snow White movie starring Rachel Zegler premiered March 21st of 2025. The opening weekend made 87 million worldwide. To put that in perspective, Joker 2, French subtitle I don't feel like pronouncing right now, made $34 million more dollars in the opening weekend. Mind you that the budget for Snow White is $70 million more. Joker 2 wasn't exactly a big success, so if your movie costs more than that and is making less, then you're definitely screwed. This movie truly did have everything going against it. There was a production delay because of COVID. There was a literal fire on set. There were actor strikes. There were reshoots. This film was going to be associated with Disney. There is plenty of blame to go around, but Rachel Zegler herself is going to be the face of this failure. As I was doing research for this video, Variety released a really good article detailing all of this. It's clear that the movie is a failure in of itself. Now, the real question will pivot to who is the failure to blame it on, regardless of who is actually responsible for this entire snowball effect. That snowball was pushed down the hill the moment Rachel Zegler was casted. The idea of race swapping a Disney princess was never going to work out, especially when her name is white. This didn't end well for The Little Mermaid, and this won't work again with all the added drama on top of this. But all the drama does make this whole movie much more interesting to talk about. It's like the 2024 movie It Ends With Us. Does anybody remember the movie outside of the accusations? No, it was a garbage movie, but we all know about the movie because it was the root of this Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit. The good part about the movie being out is that we never have to talk about it again. I'm getting tired of seeing this face, and I'm sure by the time I'm editing it, I'm gonna want to puke.